yoga challenge. Today is day 84. Please make sure you check my website to make sure that you're keeping safe and adapting poses for you. Do subscribe if you'd like to. We're going to come onto our backs to start with, and we're going to do one of my grandma's favourite poses. So if you bring yourself to a comfortable space on the floor, so that you're just going to lie comfortably, and you're going to start by just taking your knees up and over your chest, and you're just going to ease them back and forth a couple of times. So just a nice smooth even movement over the lower back. And then from here you're going to take your knees slightly from one side to the other side. So we're just easing out, allowing the body to relax, settle and get ready for a little bit more movement. And then you're going to bring your feet onto the floor. I'm going to do it this way, so hopefully you can see all of me. You're going to just extend your legs out so the feet start to lengthen, and you're going to take your hands up and overhead. The first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to get an enjoyable feeling of that length in the body. And then you're going to start to draw your toes away. You can interlink your hands, so I'm interlinking my thumbs. And you're going to extend your fingertips all the way up and overhead. So you're going to start to stretch out to make yourself as long as possible. And then from here you're going to start to draw the back of your waist down towards the floor whilst keeping all that feeling of length in your back. And then relax, let your body just settle. So this is the pose my grandma insists cured a slip disc, and the doctor said so too. She was always very proud of herself for this one. So again, you're going to take your feet close in together, hands into light. You're going to extend your fingertips up and overhead, your toes, so you're making as much space between your toes and your fingers as possible. So what will probably happen is your back of your waist will lift up to create that distance between your fingers and your toes. And then you're going to keep that distance between the fingers and the toes and steadily draw the back of your waist down towards the floor. And then release again. So when you release, just let your feet move, your arms, elbows soften. Just come to notice how you are. So she insisted that this is what worked. Well, didn't insist in a bad way, but she really was absolutely sure that this cured her. And it could cure you too, who knows? Hands and fingertips extend out and away. Make all the space you need to get as long as possible. So just focusing on the distance between the fingertips and the toes, and then slowly draw the back of your waist down. Keep the length between the toes and the feet. And then relax. And if you bring your knees back up and over your chest for a moment, so just ease them from one side to the other side. You're going to come onto your side just now, so you're just going to ease yourself over to one side for a moment. And then we're going to bring ourselves to a standing forward bend. So you're going to take your feet onto the floor, start to lift up through the hips, soften down through the head. Make sure you've got a little bit of softness through the back of your knees. Take your elbows onto your legs somewhere so that you can release down comfortably. And then bend through your knees, start to lift up through the tummy, up through the hands, all the way up and overhead. And then bring your hands back to your heart. We're going to do a standing pose now. So, I've got that's at completely the wrong angle. We're going to do a standing pose, and we're going to do a version of tree pose. So this is like a baby tree pose, but it's really good for the movement of the hips. So do take your hand onto support if you would like it. You're going to fold one knee forwards, and you're going to rotate round so your heel sits on top of your ankle. So from here, you're going to start to let the standing leg start to draw up and in towards your centre line, and then, or your midline, and then you're going to start to let your knee rotate out. So we're looking at the movement through the hip joint to allow tree's pose to happen. So there's movement round of the hip and round of the thigh. So the movement of the knee is almost that direction, out and back. This leg is drawing up and has also got similar movement out and back, just subtly though. So just keep the pelvis nice and even, and then you're going to take your hands up and overhead. You're going to settle your hands down and onto your head, and let your shoulders relax. And then stretch all the way up and all the way out. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the opposite side. So foot settles down and onto the floor. Other foot is extending out onto the heel. So the heel is sitting onto the ankle bone. Supporting leg stays up and in, so you get that feeling of lift from the ground and up through the legs, and then the shoulders release down. So that lift from the floor comes all the way through the legs and up to the diaphragm, and then the shoulders relax out and down. Hands are going to come wide, and then all the way up and overhead if it's comfortable for you. So your hands come down and onto your head. And then stretch up and all the way out and down. We're going to come to your first side again. So you're setting a heel onto your ankle, the supporting leg is drawing up and in. The option this time is to let your toes come off the floor if you would like, so you start to increase that feeling of balance. Same thing, hands are going to come up and overhead, sink them down and onto your head and release down. And now really focus on that feeling of that drawing up of energy from the supporting foot and that movement out and round of the bent leg. And then stretch up all the way out to the floor and back down. And then that opposite side. So again, heel is either settled right onto the ankle bone and the ball of the foot is on the bent leg is nice and grounded down, or it can start to float up, so you get that feeling a little bit more challenge to the leg, but really focus on this movement out and round of the hips. So we're working with the kind of hip joints more than the balance. Hands are going to come up and then out and down and onto your head. Shoulders release and then lifting up and out and down. Bring yourself back to both feet settled onto the floor. We're going to come to do a seated twist now, so if you want to bring yourself, well actually we're going to do a squatting twist, but if you want to bring yourself so that you've got your knees are on the floor now. So you're going to start with your knees on the floor and the toes tucked under, and from here you're going to choose one whether this is comfortable in itself. So do bring yourself back into all fours, give your feet a little bit of a stretch around. And we're going to have progressive options. So it could be that you're right up on your knees. It could be you're sitting on your bottom because your knees don't like this. So do please be as creative with your adaptation as you would like. Other option from here is to come up and onto your toes so that you've got that high kneeling position. And this is just if your hips and body are happy to do this. You're going to bring your hands in towards your heart, and then you're going to ease yourself round to one side and then back to the centre and to your opposite side. Coming all the way back to the centre, let your hands come onto the floor, let your knees come down and give your feet a little bit of a move around. And then we're going to do that again. So you're going to let if you think about your knees coming close, your feet coming fairly close, not touching, because then you'll end up with a very narrow base through the feet, but close. And then you're going to start to see if you can sit yourself up. So I'm extending my knees slightly away from me. I've got that feeling of drawing back slightly through the tummy. The shoulders are soft and down. And then from here, let your hands come up. Bring yourself round to one side if you like. And then slowly, smoothly, all the way over to the other side. It's a really nice work for the feet doing this, isn't it? You're going to bring your hands back onto your legs. Take them onto the floor and extend one leg out. Stretch out through that back heel and then the other side. And then we're going to come back into a sitting position to do some breathing. So if you just want to bring yourself to a position where you can relax and settle comfortably. So we're going to do our little sniffs in today, so that breathing pattern. Please adapt it, so do more, do less, do whatever feels right for you. But go with the feeling that you're just gently expanding your lung capacity or the movement of the lungs so that you can breathe more freely. breath in, 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 and out. In, 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 and out. You can use your ujjayi breath on that out breath if you want to. In, 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 and out. And last time. So my challenge for you today might be significantly challenging to some of you. I'd like you to find something that is decaying and find the beauty in it. So an easy-ish version might be a flower that's dying and the petals are falling off. It could be a piece of food that is past its best. See if you can actually look at it in that kind of different lens where we're looking at the positivity and the fact that it's right for some things to decay and to fall apart and to recede back. And I like to think of it a bit like the inhale and the exhale. There's a nice quote about that, isn't it? Time to live and a time to die. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think that comes to all of us at some point. It does come to all of us at some time. And I've not got that nice quote for you. I've got a different quote for you. But that was my challenge, to see if you can find the beauty in something that's decaying, something that's dying. Challenging possibly, but also very valuable. My quote for you today is from one of my favourite yoga books. This is The Spirit of Yoga by Kathy Phillips, and it's one of my favourite yoga books not because of the writing, it's because of the photos. It's rather beautiful photos, just nicely taken, nicely put together. And the photos of the yoga poses, they focus more on the feeling than on the actual pose. So for me, that is brilliant, because most yoga pictures, it's all about, like, oh, beautiful. And yeah, the photos are beautiful, but there's a kind of softer quality to me. But you might disagree. So this is a quote from St. Augustine. People travel to wonder at the heights of mountains, at the huge waves of the sea, at the long courses of rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and they pass by themselves without wondering. People travel to wonder at the heights of mountains, at the huge waves of the sea, at the long courses of rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and they pass by themselves without wondering. I hope you have a good day, a peaceful day, and that you can make yourself up another challenge if you didn't fancy my one. Thank you. Got the croissants. Oh my god, the croissants were great. Bonjour Bakery in Perth.